We're going to be live streaming in just a moment here. So if you need to jump off the Zoom, you can jump onto YouTube, grab your phone and take us with you anywhere. So you don't have to be on the Zoom necessarily. Live streaming in just a moment here. All right, there we go. We are live streaming. Okay, now we do need a volunteer or two. Hopefully you're volunteering in the chat, and we just want to look at a couple of things up here on the website and talk about what we're going to be doing today. Okay, the website to look at for more information is geniusbiofeedback.com. We'll just bring it into the frame here. Talk about all of the good things coming up. Now, on Thursday on our podcast, what we did is we interviewed on the Frequency of 528 podcast. You may or may have not seen that we interviewed Dr. Robert O. Young, or Dr. Robert Young. And Karen, again, if you're on here, thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with you soon. And Karen's going to join me on the next 528 podcast. And we're going to sort of do a synopsis of what Dr. Young said and also what some of Karen's best practices are. We have a lot to talk about. So make sure you sign up. Let's go to the events page here and look at the events calendar. Okay, so first of all, we've got I don't have this event here, but let's go ahead to here. All right. So what we're going to do, so first of all, you guys know about the new start time. Obviously, you're here at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We are going to be at 10 o'clock on Mondays. We live stream to YouTube. We always record it. We post it on our blog. And we're going to look at the blog in a second. Today, we're going to go over all the new features. We're going to answer your questions about the features. So for right now, as you're sitting there trying to figure out what to do, go ahead and you can put into the chat, what are your questions about the new features? If there's a bug, an obvious issue, something that could be better, then please send me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. Ariel, A-R-I-E-L, at geniusbiofeedback.com. So on Thursday, make sure you sign up for the podcast, because Karen and I are going to be sort of deconstructing what we learned from Dr. Robert Young. But the main message you have to understand, and we have to be careful about what we say here, is with everything that is being put upon us, right? The challenges that we have, let's say to our immune system, let's say some people who've gotten this thing, you know what I'm talking about, that particular thing, or being around people who've gotten that thing. Even I think if I say that thing, you probably know what I mean. Or, you know, Dr. Young talked about that this thing, we could be interacting with certain things at any time, breathing, getting bitten by a mosquito, just all of these things. He's just like, oh, you know, it's everywhere. If it's everywhere, and if people are challenged, what I want to put forth to you and what Karen and I are going to be discussing, and what we're going to do other classes to discuss, is the most important thing is to make a commitment to be as resilient to these challenges as possible. And what we do is we teach you how to do it with the Genius and also with diet and lifestyle. What are the things that you can do to make yourself really bulletproof, immune resilient? It is possible that in the face of the most incredible challenges that you can make a decision to uplift, to change, to transform your health so that you're alkaline, you don't have any parasites in your body, you've cleansed them, you know how to detox, you know how to keep your immune system strong. So you're just, hey, whatever goes on around me, I'm taking full responsibility for myself, and I am going to face those challenges. And what we want to do here is show you, give you the information to be able to do that. So that is what both Karen and I are going to be talking about, and what other classes that we're going to be offering to teach you to be more resilient in the face of these challenges, both with the Genius and things that you can do, alkalizing, certain foods, different breathing techniques, certain supplements, remedies, whatever you can do that you just are as strong as you could possibly be. So that is what we're going to work on, because you can do this, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so we're going to take a volunteer in just a moment. You have to put your date of birth if you want a scan. So Lisa, you're new to our community. We're going to work with you today. I'm going to get you working on this, or are going to work on you for this. So be sure to check your microphone and maybe your camera if you're able to join us by microphone and camera in just a moment. I just need to get your information all entered. So thank you so much for joining us and being with us today. We really appreciate it. And we're going to go to your questions about the Genius, about the new version. Now, remember, the new version was in process for months and months and months, and it really is a great victory to see that it has been completed. And very, very exciting to know that it's been completed and that it's ready to go. So one thing I noticed right off the bat is that there's something going on with the date of birth. So has anybody encountered any issue with the date of birth, just trying to get that date of birth in there? Let me know, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, so let's go ahead and load up our questions. Whatever questions that you have about the Genius today, just let me know. And we are on a new version. I would recommend that, hey, definitely try to update to the new version, because there's so many great things within there that new features that you can work on, new ways that you can scan, new ways that you can organize information. And it's very, very exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a volunteer in just a moment, and we're going to get started. So very, very exciting. I'll answer your questions and we'll get rolling from here. All right, we're almost ready to go. And be sure to put your questions in about the new version. What kind of features would you like to have explained? You can let me know. And we'll definitely go from here. So what questions do you have about the new version? All right, what questions do you have that you would like to know about the new version? Make sure that they're entered. And then we're going to go ahead and go to our volunteer, which is Lisa. We've entered her information. So we're going to talk with her. So we're just going to bring you up here to be a panelist, just so we can easily talk with you about the Genius. So I'm going to use a reflector, and we're going to go from there. So I'm going to use something called a reflector 4 that's going to allow me to broadcast my desktop to you. You can go to airsquirrels.com to get that if you'd like to. And hopefully we're going to have this up here in just a moment. So be sure to ask your questions about the new version. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, Ariel. I'm great. Thanks.
Good, good. So what are you finding out so far as you're testing out the Genius?
I'm loving it. It's amazing, all the information it can provide.
I totally agree with you. It's great, great fun to learn new things about yourself and the world around you, and so many things that you can balance. You know, it's not often that you can discover, okay, this might be an issue or a problem, and I actually can instantly find the solution to it by just hitting the balancing and do the balancing and have a solution right in front of you.
Agree completely.
All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hopefully record your voice. There might be some clunks in here, so we'll just do our best. But to record the voice, you can state your name, then you can say AEIOU over and over again, and you can actually speak some affirmation, some positive statement related to the changes that you'd like to make from your Genius session. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So I will start, I'll count you down here, and I'll start recording your voice in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
Lisa Kanaki, AEIOU. I am pain-free, healthy, and well. AEIOU, AEIOU, AEIOU.
Absolutely fantastic. So something I don't really point out very much, which is the voice harmonics. So the voice harmonics, let's see if it works, is a way to give a homeopathic session, a really, really brief session based on the voice. You're feeding back the homeopathic equivalent of that person's voice in order to sort of start the session on a really good footing. You're sort of clearing out all of the superficial. Let's see how it works. So I'm going to tap on, trying to get that little annotation in here. Let's see if I can get this. All right, there we go. So the voice harmonics, let's see if I can. So just a little bit, used to be a lot more choppy. You can still hear that kind of static. Yeah, there you go. What you can do is you can just do it for a couple of seconds. Ooh, sounds very space age. And it's actually, it's quite potent. If you're intuitive, you can almost feel it. And so it just clears the deck for the person. And then you're going to get a deeper scan when you move forward. So let's go ahead, and we've got that voice. And now we're going to go ahead in the picture. So your voice in your picture contains a whole lot of energetic information that we utilize during our scan in order to understand more about the person that we're scanning, in order to have energy and frequency information. Don't know what that other picture is. Let's go ahead and take this picture now. And so let's get a quick little smile from you. Okay, that was absolutely perfect. What are the things that you're working on? Is there anything in particular?
Physical pain, feet, leg, physical pain, and then also hormone balancing.
Oh, that's wonderful. And physical pain. Okay. Oh, God help me. Let me just go ahead and let me adjust this. These are things that happen with the new version from time to time. So just tell us a little more about the things that you're working on so that I can understand them a little bit better. Tell us about the pain.
I'm an emotional therapist, and I find the more I work with my clients, the busier my day, the harder the day, the more my feet hurt energetically, I'm assuming, and then my legs definitely then start to hurt. It kind of radiates up. Then sporadically, I have all kinds of weird pains happening through my back and my right arm, and some odd energy things going through in my hips. So all kinds of fun things.
Very, very good. I like the background on that. Do you feel that you're picking up a lot of the energy from the people that you're working on?
I do. Mm-hmm. And I've worked pretty hard on my own trying to not, and I've not been overly successful. When I did my very first scan, my feet pain left immediately. So that was my reason for coming back and keep looking into this deeper and deeper.
That's really interesting. So this must be teaching you kind of a lot about your own. I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see if you scan yourself before a client session and then you scan yourself after a client session. Have you tried that?
I have not. No, I hadn't even thought to do that. That is a great plan.
Yeah, so I would love to know what your experience is, and maybe we can learn something from, maybe the things that you're picking up or the things that need to be cleared. I think that would be fascinating. There's still so much that we can learn from our genius, and we're only in the inception phase, and we can kind of also learn from each other, which is really, really exciting. So now, have you uploaded this new version? Are you using the new version?
I think so, because I just recently updated. I just installed the app just a few days ago. So I'm assuming it's the new version. It looks like what you have on the screen.
Very good. Very, very cool. Excellent. All right, so let's go ahead. What do you like to look at when you're doing a scan?
Me personally, I like to look at each and every item. My eye is instantly drawn to the reds and the blues, but then as I open each of them up, I'm really just shocked at what I find.
What are some of the things you can think of that you found?
Whenever I've looked in the hormones, they're exactly as I expected. I have a whole lot that show up in the blue. When I look in the chakras, it's very common for me to have, initially I feel like there's only one or two that was in a red or blue. Last time, I think 4 of them were. And that's also when my pain was the highest.
Amazing.
So those pull out to me instantly. The emotional side always shows quite a bit as well. So
Well, you're kind of, you know, your sort of your focus and your talent is in the emotional realm. And a lot of times that, you know, we're working out a lot emotionally, and we have a lot to teach people about their emotional transformation. So that's fascinating that it comes up for you.
it really is. Yeah, I've been really impressed at how well, I want to say, it identifies me and sees me through my voice and the photo.
That's beautiful. Well, let's go ahead and look at the aura. There is a new aura function. We don't know all about exactly the representations of the aura function, but the colors are very similar. So the placement we're learning more about as we get to know the new program. If anybody has ideas, thoughts, we're certainly open to them, but it is actually the color that maintains its importance, which is really fascinating. Wow, look, you got a whole rainbow of beautiful things going on in here. So we've got pink, we've got green, we've got a little bit of a white in there, sort of pinkish again. And gosh, look at the beautiful purple. And so I'd say the essence of you today is that purple energy, which is very open in that sixth chakra of intuition. Really beautiful. But we do have some fuzziness on the outside. And so I'd say that this fuzziness, we sort of see the blurriness is representative of the pain and the sort of maybe some blood stagnation. Now at the bottom of our screen, so we can still take a picture of it, like a screenshot, so we can look at it after, and we still are going to be able to do that before and after. And you can email it to your client. You can just print it right out. Many of you may have wireless printers. Most printers these days are wireless. And so if you have a client there, if you want to send them something really cool, you could print or color print the aura before and after and actually give it or send it or mail it to them as sort of an added bonus to the session. Remember, you want to make your client very happy while you're doing a session. Some of it is the little niceties that you do during a session. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some balancing, and then I'm going to talk about the new features. So Lisa, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you just relax, sit back, enjoy the show, as they say, and then we'll come back and talk with you in just a little bit. Does that sound okay?
Sounds wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, perfect. Okay, we're going to answer a lot of your questions. We're going to go through all the different features. There's a new look. There are going to be bugs. There are going to be hiccups along the way. So please just don't put your bugs into the chat. Go ahead and just send them all to me, goodies, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com, so I can make a list of them and send them to our wonderful developer. All right, so Dondi says, I signed up for the trial last night. A very, very warm welcome to you, Dondi, and thank you for being here. All right. Nicole says, how do you detox from the you know what, and you know what, the other thing in the chat there, in an optimal way? We are going to do a class on this. We're going to do a class that's going to combine things like, N-acetylcysteine and glutathione and all the goodies, alkalizing, etc., and what we do with V-Clear and V-Shed. So that is going to be coming up, and that's going to be something we're not going to broadcast to good old YT. We'll talk about that private class that's coming up. All right. Now, the Android version, we're waiting for it to be approved. So I apologize, Android users who are very excited about the new version. Not quite approved, not our fault, just Android has not approved it yet. All right. Where are the new aspects of the update? All right, we'll talk about them. Okay. Okay, should we request the client drink water prior to a scan, is Audra's question. Sure, that's a great idea. Remember that this is about electricity. This is about frequency. You're in training frequency, which means you are interacting with an electrical activity, a frequency activity, and therefore you have to have electricity running through your being. Not having enough water or not having enough electrolytes means that no electricity will run through your system, or it will conduct very poorly. So things like water, and even I like an electrolyte called the Ultima Replenisher because it doesn't have a lot of sugar and things like that. And it just has some something like one of the things like stevia or something in there. But it's very, very healthy. Otherwise, the Ultima Replenisher, it's something you get on Amazon, or you can get your favorite electrolyte, whatever you like. And if you have somebody that you're working with remotely, then tell them, hey, you may want to get this electrolyte. You're not prescribing it, but you can say, why don't you research it and see if it's something that resonates with you? It'll help you to have more electrical flow during our work together and while you're running the frequencies on your Quanta capsule. I'm doing voice by proxy as good. That's what I've been doing since I can't get the voice to upload. Sarah, we definitely want to get the voice to upload. So if you're experiencing, let me look at these issues so I can expedite them to the developer. If you have an issue uploading a voice, then we want to know ASAP. Are you having an issue uploading it from your capsule? That we want to know about uploading the voice issues as soon as possible so that we can resolve them. Those would be a priority #1 item. Can you demonstrate where you put the top 50 and lower 50 items into the main whole tray? Betsy, what is the top 50 and the lower 50 items? What is that? I don't know about that. I don't know if you heard that somewhere else, but you can tell me if you want to. I don't know what the top 50 items are. The aura pick makes me think it's doing an aerial view of the aura field, like a top-down view. That's not, it's more of an inner layers of the aura. So you're looking more at layers. So inside, then sort of like the etheric field, the auric field, the mental field. Similar to that, you're looking at layers of the aura. The email aura function stopped working for me. Malika, please email me, Ariel@geniusbiofeedback.com. With the minerals, will it also help if we put some Himalayan salt in our water? So I recommend just minerals because some people are sensitive to sodium. Oh my goodness, we could do a whole class on sodium. There's controversy about sodium. I personally have stopped consuming all salt except from food because salt may be, and I'm just saying maybe, first of all, salt increases your appetite. So if you're trying to lose weight, you should be careful of that. And try to eat more fruits and vegetables, try to eat more broth so you get all of your plants and vegetables to give you sodium. There is, if you look at, if you go to True North Health and you read about the fasting that they do there and their lifestyle recommendations, True North Health, they talk a lot about salt having an effect on the cardiovascular system, on the kidney system. If you know anyone who has high blood pressure, the first thing that they tell them is to avoid the salt shaker. But you maybe think, oh, that's just regular salt. It's not Himalayan salt. It's sodium. It's a very, very high level of sodium. So be cautious for yourself and for other people. And we never want to recommend. We only suggest. In other words, like, make sure it resonates for you. Please research it. We don't want to be as seen as prescribing medicine without a license. Okay. The top 50 and the bottom 50 comes up when you do a general overview. It is the plus sign. Okay, let's see. Let's see what it looks like. So that's an interesting concept. The top 50 when you do the general overview. So it actually allows you to choose the top 50. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. And let's go to the general overview. So let's talk about how this happens. Let's do that one more time. So everyone pay attention here. If you go up to your system overview and then you tap system overview, it will give you, it'll sort of bring in, it loads the scan. And then when we do the scan, it ranks everything, including the custom libraries from high to low. Let's take a look and see if we get the top 50 and lower 50. Okay. It was available to choose in the dropdown, but I can't find it in the latest version, but it used to be on the first upgrade. Fun times. Love trying to figure out puzzles like that. Let's go ahead and let's figure this out. So if we do the plus sign here, we do have it actually. I've never seen this function before, but it makes a lot of sense. And actually, that's what I was referring to. Okay, this is a great function. So let's talk about it. I'm glad the developer added this. This is very, very cool. Okay, let's talk about what's happening though first in the general overview, because it's really important for us to talk about. In the general overview, we've got a new function. What it does is it loads up the matrix. Oh, now there's no scores on these. Oh, heaven help me, please. You know, it's like, this is You know what, please go ahead and everyone, let's go ahead and get the developer's email in here. So rw@insighthealthapps.com. And what I want you to do is every issue that you have, I want you to put it in the subject line, and I want you to just start sending these issues to the developer immediately, if not sooner. So the first one is scan general overview, and there are no scores. All right, so scan general overview and there's no scores. Please go ahead and send that to the developer if you've seen that yourself. So I see it right now. I don't know why it is. Let's try to do it one more time. If we go here and we go general overview, begin analysis. Okay, now there are numbers. I don't know why there weren't numbers the first time. And it seemed like it came up in a different order. Oh, I need something for all the sweat beads here. Okay, so this is good for doing quick live sessions. Maybe it's intentional. No, just send all of your issues to the developer. I also noticed when I came in that I couldn't enter the date of birth. So if you had an issue trying to enter the date of birth, I didn't see any entry sign. Please go ahead and send that. I've noticed issues with the progressive insights with stacking high, medium, and low. If you've noticed that, please send it right to the developer. As you're sitting here, please send as many issues as possible to the developer. So we want to get all of those in immediately so that we can have this working well. Okay. I noticed something else at the top that's not there. I really would have liked to have seen. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Anyway, let's go ahead right to the top and let's take a look-see at the very, very tippy top here. All right. So the first one is an affirmation. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening. What it's doing is it's taking all the libraries and it's stacking them from high to low, including everything in the system overview and all the custom libraries. It's not a new scan. It's just a ranking scan. It's just an organizing scan. But think about it. On the big box systems, you've got your Skio, your Life system, these big box systems, they tend to scan the whole matrix every item. What that allows you to do is to say, like, of all of these items, what is of the most interest to the innate intelligence, to the person? And the more items you have, the more fascinating, because the innate intelligence had to go all the way to that particular item, giving you the feeling that these are immensely important to the innate intelligence. So the first scan is going to be everything in the entire system, including all of the libraries that you've acquired. Now, what you can do is you can remove the custom libraries. So I'm going to come back to this in a second. There's a function right up here, and we can go remove library. And we're going to compare and contrast some of the things that we get an awareness from both of ththink ways of stacking the information. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to add in the libraries. And of all the libraries, we're probably talking, I think we're talking about 6,000, actually more than that, items that we're looking at least 6,000 items, because we have all the libraries in here and we have multiple items in the libraries. So at any rate, my dreams come true. So right there, like, you want to be a good observer. My dreams come true. Something about her thinking about her dreams, about how important it is to achieve her dreams. And she's also in the trajectory of getting to where she can manifest her dreams. Now, this doesn't take a doctor to figure out. This is just a good interpreter. Okay, so we can add the single item. It also says lung 3. So there might be something about the lung. Lung is paired with large intestine, so there could be something related to large intestine. So we can sort of pack that away and think about it. It's 776, so it's among the highest items. We may want to check the lung meridian overall in the main part of the system, so you can take some notes and you can put down some information. Then it says flexibility. So when you see flexibility, you want to think about the kidneys and make sure you check on the kidneys. Inflexibility is usually manifest as some type of kidney issue. So we're bringing wanting to have more flexibility. Now I'm going to bring in the 50 in just a moment. Okay, melatonin balancing. This is from Total Hormonal Optimization, which is one of our libraries. Optimize transcription translation loop in the suprachiasmatic nucleus. So this is a brain processing function that would help us to have the proper levels of melatonin and healthy sleep ultimately. Oxygenating the cells at 16 hertz. So we will 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I not include this one? So certain items, let's see. Certain items are not being added to the tray. It appears, right? Because I tried to add a whole bunch of items so that there's a mismatch between what you're selecting and the items being added. Somebody send that in. There's a mismatch between when I pulled items, I pulled 5 items into the tray and it didn't pull the items. Let's see. This wasn't even one of the items. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's clear all and let's see what's happening here. So my dreams come true. Got that one in there. Lung number 3, got it in there. Flexibility, got it in there. Optimize transcription, it got added. Oxygenate the cells. Okay, that all got added. Whew. All right. Fluid, generally maintaining microcirculation. Now, Dr. Young talked about one of the most important things in maintaining your health is good maintenance of the interstitial fluid. And we're going to talk about this, how to work with it with your genus, but it has a lot to do with detoxification, right pH balance, and right hydration. We're going to get into that both on the podcast with Karen McDonald and coming up in future classes. So it's interesting that the interstitial fluid came up here. There's it's all my fault. Okay, something's carrying some type of guilt. And then this is an essential oil product. You guys probably know about that one. Then thieves comes up. I choose beliefs that bring me aliveness and growth. This is from our 100 affirmations library. I'm now ready to forgive on every level. Interesting, mandibular lymphatic drainage from the mandibular, working on issues related to trust. So I like to look at the things sort of one by one. I like to examine them so I kind of understand my client at a deeper level. Let me just shut this down for a minute. When I tap, what I did is I tapped on general overview. When I tap on general overview once, it's going to bring me to the lowest number. So then I like to look at the lowest numbers. And you could just do the top 10 if you wanted to. We did 13 at the top, and you could do the top 10, and then you could do the lower 10. We'll talk about the 50 in just a moment. Number 7 from apex energetic drainage. So there may need to be a need for detoxification. Sleep deeply, wake up refreshed, a sense of well-being at 10.9 hertz. So that's a right frequency. Emotional cause for kind of a large intestine stuff, and that could be related to lung and large intestine are paired. Okay, mental hunger, so wanting more like intellectual stimulation. The lacrimal cord, so that's a nerve bundle. The electron chain transport has to do with the mitochondria. Sensitivity to coffee. Okay, now we're up to 20 items. Let's add some more. I'm getting stronger. This is an affirmation. I'm getting stronger every day in every way. Improved production of ATP. I'm experiencing a new beginning. Wow, intestinal inflammation. That's interesting in the small intestine. Arnica, 30C. Lower left, a wisdom tooth. Now, if you don't have your wisdom teeth, it could be the place where the tooth used to be. So where the tooth was, that can have all types of different issues. Hopefully not things like cavitations, but something that may need to be attended to, just maybe clearing it out a little bit, rinsing, things like that. The heart and circulation optimization, you don't just have the flow of blood through a pump, you actually have these elegant vortices, these energetic centers within the vascular system. Then we have an affirmation. I'm an unlimited being. I can create anything I want. Okay, so I like to choose them. We've kind of got 13 at the top and then 14 at the bottom. So I chose a total of 28 items. Now, you could have, if we hit the plus sign right here, what you could have done is you could have chosen the top 50 and the bottom 50. Why would you do that? Because it's an incredibly easy way to get a session started. So we'll go back and we'll do that in just a little while. If you wanted to do that, just say top 50, bottom 50 by tapping on each one of these buttons, and then take it into Progressive Insights in order to look more deeply at it. Okay, why are you adding the whole library versus the red and the blue? That's not the whole library. What it is it's actually saying, I don't know why he added this word library. He's telling you it's from this particular custom library. This is the library, and this is the item in the library. So we didn't actually add the whole library. That's a good question, though. Thank you for your excellent question. If I scan my aura in the new update, is there a centrally with color? What does this say? Sorry, Nicole, I don't understand your question, but go ahead. I'm just trying to catch up with some of your chat questions here. Okay, so going all the way back to Betsy, if you don't have that function, then you don't have the latest update, but that function of the 50 items is actually still there, obviously. Now, I want to do something different here. I want to cancel this. Now, let's look at some of the things. There's a handy dandy export to the capsule. That is something that we asked the developer for many times. Hallelujah, because now you don't have to go to Progressive Insights. If these are the items that you want to send to your client, then you can just go export to the capsule. It brings up the capsule, and then you simply type in their email address. So that is an awesome, awesome function to have. Now, hopefully it will load. There we go. Very nice. This is very clear. Very nice. All we need to do is type in their email address. Perfect. Now, what I want to show you is when you remove the libraries here, we're going to close the tray, close it. We're going to remove, these are all the custom libraries. So these are things that are not in the system overview. There's lots of items in the system overview, and let's stack them from highest to lowest and just go ahead and take a look at what might be in there. So barley, so the top sensitivity for her, now we looked at it before, we saw coffee, something about barley is also not resonating with her. So we can include that and we can just clear the energy on that. Now the meridians, we've had many talks about the meridians, and there's a lot of meridians in here. So they get sort of an unfair ranking of priority because there's so many that are tested. But it does say the urinary bladder meridian. Then we've got some sacred geometry. I'm just going to skip over that for now because very esoteric explanation. Kidney meridian. Now, kidney meridian is interesting. It gives us a point, kidney 20, tells us there's a point, some of the highest scores is a kidney point. That's interesting because of the inflexibility, or not inflexibility, but wanting to move into a place of even more flexibility is a better way to put it. Gallbladder, so the gallbladder meridian is coming up. Milk thistle, that's for detoxification. Chamomile for relaxing and nervous system revitalization. Then we see lime, the stomach meridian, the pericardium meridian. Now, the pericardium meridian is a place where we store a lot of emotions. And so when that becomes overloaded, it may be because we're needing to do an emotional release. So that's interesting. Then we've got, I think we said lime. I'm going to skip a lot of the other meridians, and let's just do some other highlights like the throat chakra, burdock. So again, I see a lot of stuff for cleansing. Now we're going to go back up to the top. We're going to go to general overview, and we're going to tap it. Now it's going to switch it to the low items, only low items from the system overview. So coffee, we saw before, it's saying there's some air pollution. We know that that could be the funny things they spray in the sky. When we see a positive emotion and it's low, it means we're trying to move into the positive emotion. So when we see love, it means we're trying to connect more with the energy of love. So when you see a positive emotion, trying to connect with it more. When you see a sort of negative emotion, we're trying to clear it. We're trying to deal with some issue around disappointment. We've got the spleen that's related to the immune system. We've got bacteria, bladder meridian, C1. C1 we've associated with when you're consuming foods that you're allergic to. So I don't know, maybe coffee, barley, some other things, corn came up. Let's see, large intestine, which we said that's interesting because it's paired with lungs. So now I'm just scanning for anything else that looks very interesting. Kava kava is great for revitalizing the nervous system. Holy basil is a great adaptogen. Let's get some brain clearing. All right, so that's enough. So we've got 50 items. Now let's see if we can do the same thing here. So in this scan, we could also have added the top 50 and the bottom 50. That's great for beginners. When you don't know what to select, just go to general overview, choose the top 50 and the lower 50, and then bring it into Progressive Insights where you rescan it, and it will then tell you the top items, which we're going to look at right now. So right now we only have 50 items in the tray. That's okay. Let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to press this button right here. And before we do that, let's just do a couple more things that are related to this particular case and also the new features, talk about them. So first of all, I just want to look at hormones. I'm going to go to the custom libraries in order to do that, and I'm going to scan the custom libraries. So here we are, the custom libraries. There's some new functions in here. We're going to talk about them. Let's go ahead and begin this analysis. Okay. Linda says, is this going into the quick tray? No, we've been putting everything into the lower tray, which is called the main whole tray. It's interesting that pain assessment causes came up at the top for her. Now, if you look at this, there are different things that you can observe in this scan that are not as easy to observe in your general overview, because it's telling us which global library is coming up at the highest level for her, whereas we don't really see that global library in that general overview. And all of this is good energetic information. The one thing I can tell you after 10 years of doing this is that the genius is often incredibly on point. This information usually really reflects what people will tell you is going on with them. So trust the information. So leave love in blue then. No, you want to put love into the tray because you want to help them to embody that love experience, internal experience of love that they're looking for. What is the maximum recommended items we can use? There's no can with the genius. The genius gives you the keys to the universe, Michelle, and you can do whatever the heck you want with it. But we do recommend, I have seen about 150 items being the max in the main whole tray makes for a good session. We shouldn't be putting things in willy-nilly. I'll just do this and hey, I'll just do that. And we want to think about the things that we put into the tray. We want to be discriminating. Now, using your highs and lows from general overview, that's a strategy, but we want to think about what we're doing. We don't want to just load up random things into the tray. Yes, you can use the genius every single day. Every single day you should do a little bit of exercise. Every single day you should drink good water. Every single day you should eat good food. Every single day you should shower and floss your teeth. And every single day you should use your genius to keep that momentum absolutely going and flowing for yourself. One thing, if you're busy, right, as a user of the genius, scan yourself on Monday. Export the items to your own Quanta capsule and balance 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night at those selected frequencies. Then on Thursday, after 3 or 4 days of using that, do a new scan, or even wait till the following Monday. That way you can utilize your time effectively. You don't have to keep scanning yourself, but you want to keep balancing with the frequencies. Let's look now at pain 1 assessment causes. Spinal nerve compression. Something about the blood, the globulin in the blood, which is an immune response, protein kinases, nerve growth factor, lactic acid contributing to pain. Isn't that fascinating? A structural abnormality, meaning that there might be a misalignment. An interference field, that's a longer conversation. Substance P, histamines. We talked about in the Library Discount Club covering the genetics regenerator. We have a new library called the Genetics Regenerator on the website, and it deals with the different genetic changes in the body. And we talked about this in the Library Discount Club bonus class. We talked about the genetics regenerator specifically related to some genetic changes in the chromosomes and the genes that cause people to have a harder time processing histamine. And these are the people that have a lot of food allergies, escalating food allergies. They always feel bloated. They might feel itchy. And so it could be just a genetic issue with regulating these histamines. Now, I am actually going for items that are a little bit, is it just me? Does that view keep changing down here? Am I tripping? Does this seem to keep changing this view? See, closing the tray or something. All right. So anyway, so this is anything under 200, even if it's in green, we can include it. So that came up, right? And then here's some hormonal. This is total hormonal optimization, and this is DHEA balancing. And so this tells us, how do we balance DHEA? DHEA is an important precursor to a lot of different hormones, and it tends to decrease after the age of 40. And it's known as an anti-aging hormone. Chaga mushroom, release water being retained, cordyceps mushroom. Let's also look under H for hormonal assessment. And so now let's talk about some of the functions on here. If we go up here to this little arrow, and this is a new feature. I wish these buttons were nicer. I wish they were prettier. I wish they were more, just spoke with an icon about what they are. But what can you do? So we're going to use this little search bar right here. When we use the search bar, we're going to, Lord help me. Okay, so hormone assessment is what we're looking for. And I think the deep search function, unfortunately, is not really what we want, because we don't want every item in the library. What we want is to be able to see the global library. So we don't want every item that's here. We want to be able to see the global library so that we can check it. So this is a problem that I really want, if you could please email the developer and say, this is not what we want from the search function. What we want from the search function is to be able to see libraries, not all the sub-libraries. We need to see the total library name, not all the sub-libraries. I think you need to click on libraries before you do the search. Let's see. I thought I did that. Let's see if I'm doing the searching correctly. All right, so let's go to custom libraries. Let's go open it up. Let's look at the search. So let's go ahead and go back here. Let's try it again. And let's go here. And now we're going to, the only thing that I can do when I hit that search bar is to type in hormones. And I don't see the individual hormone assessment. Maybe let's just try it again. Hormonal. All right, let's try hormones. And okay, let's see it again. See if it's here. Hormones optimized, hormones balanced, hormones plus. I didn't even know I had this library called Hormones Plus. I don't know what it is. Hormones, none of the libraries open, so I can't open the libraries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just do a full alphabetical. And so please report these issues right to the developer. This is it's just an utter mess. It just really is. And so we should ask for more. And there's problems. Unfortunately, I see multiple issues going on here. So let the developer know as soon as possible. Just fill up his inbox with all the issues so he can start correcting them. So anyway, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to try to stack them from high to low. Now in stacking them from high to low, I have to actually scroll through all the libraries. That's not what I want. So that's not very helpful. But now I'm going to try it anyway. So I'm going to try to go here and I'm going to stack them, look at them. What I really wanted was hormonal assessment. Now, when I go into hormonal assessment and I go back, it's going to take me back to the regular sort. So that's another issue. Let's go ahead and look at hormonal assessment. Melanin, that's interesting. 4-hydroxyestrone, that's an estrogen metabolism, prolactin, growth hormone, estradiol. So there's some estrogen issues here. Then we're going to go down to the lower one. Testosterone came up before, and when women are in peri or menopause, then yes, the testosterone goes down. Even the physiological level for women can go down. Now look what happens when I go back here. I want to see things in alphabetical order, but then it switches me out from alphabetical order and it goes all the way back to the regular sort, which is not what I want. So now I have to go back. I don't know why this tray opened. I have to close the tray. I don't know what is, this is like just a total complete mess. So now I have to go here. And now what I want to do is I have to go back and I have to put it in alphabetical order again. Now, I know I'm saying these things, I'm frustrated, but they will all be cleared up and they will all be cleared up pretty quickly. But please just email him and just let him know, just These things, this is part and parcel of any software update. They will be corrected. It'll be an amazing version. It'll be great. It's just a little bit along the way. So now we do have the full list of all the hormones that we want to look at. Let's go ahead and look at women's hormones. Holy basil. So thyroid function is related to this hormonal imbalance. A lot of mention of testosterone, which is fascinating. Women and men can use an herb called tribulus in order to boost their testosterone levels. Women have a certain level of physiological testosterone that helps with libido, just helps with drive. Just when you feel like, hey, I want to create things, I want to do things, I want to get out there. That's a little bit of testosterone. And they do give that in bioidentical hormones. They give a small amount along with bias, along with estrogen and progesterone. Menogen, this is a phytogen. My hormones are perfectly balanced. Lots of adaptogens. Oh, and there's that tribulus that I was just talking about. I experience balance, which is reflected in my hormones. Isn't that awesome? So a lot of hormone issues for women in perimenopause all the way to menopause can be improved through adaptogens, through working with the adrenals. So that is a huge issue, not just giving bioidentical hormones or taking things to balance hormones, but remember to work on cortisol and adrenals because they influence the reproductive hormones. Now we go right down to the bottom to see the lowest numbers. We've got magnolivers, which is magnesium, DHEA. See, there's that DHEA again. I love it when we see the different things reflected in different parts of the program. It raises our level of confidence about the results. Maca balances all the hormones. Chaste tree berry, that is a precursor to progesterone, the most common hormone that is at issue anywhere from the age of 43 all the way through menopause. You're just getting these decreasing levels of progesterone. This just affects everything in the body. If you read Dr. John Lee, his book on, he was sort of the pioneer that led into the age of bioidentical hormones that then Suzanne Summers and a whole bunch of people have talked about. And so the whole age of bioidentical hormones was started by this gentleman, Dr. John Lee. You can look for his book, read about what he says about progesterone. It's like an amazing hormone that women really, really need and thrive from, yet it just tanks all the way from, early 40s into menopause because progesterone is the hormone that holds the baby. And after the childbearing years, the body says, don't need that anymore. But it's like a youth hormone. It's a really important hormone to maintain when possible. Okay, is anybody hearing more white noise in the session? I would like to know that too, if you're hearing some type of background noise. Okay. Okay, so Catherine says, when you first go into the libraries, tap on the upper left button that says library instead of all, and then only the libraries open. All makes every single library open. Okay, let me go look at that. Thank you for letting me know, Catherine. You're an angel for letting me know. I'm going to go, let's go in and let's try that. Otherwise, I mean, you're teaching me about the new version, which is fantastic. So we're going to untap all right here, and let's try our search again. If we or we have to tap this library, the single one. So this is wonderful. So now if we tap just library instead of the libraries, which is going to search for all the sub items, let's try it again. I'm glad that somebody knows what's going on here. Now, if we go to hormone, it does in fact, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. So it gives us all the individual. So let's review it because it's very sort of esoteric and would be not obvious in my humble opinion. So let's look at it together, because how could you possibly know from just looking at the little functions up here? So let's pay attention to this. This is very important. If you would like to search when you're thinking cleverly, skillfully about what you'd like to run, like for Lisa, we want to look at pain and hormones. So let's look at pain again in this fashion. We're going to tap on just library, which I think it'd be nicer if that was the default, but anyway, okay. And also be nice to be able to hold the default, or hold your preference instead of going back to the default. But these are just things that I think of. Okay, so now let's type in the word pain. Now this is very good because all the pain libraries do come up. So Catherine, you get 5 stars today, big thumbs up, and thanking you for that information. So now we have all of our pain libraries and we can look. So let's just look at a general pain. So general pain. Some interference field. I wonder, did you ever have a, Lisa, we're going to come back to you in just a moment. Did you ever have a surgery, a fall? Did you break any bones? Just even a concussion, falling on your head, that can cause something called an interference field. Sangro de Grado, blood of the dragon, is good for any type of bone injuries. Vitamin C, alpha lipoic acid. Fracture healing begins now. I wonder if there's a fracture that didn't heal completely. Curcumin, white willow bark, sedation and pain relief. This is a really great rife frequency. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to just recharge. Guys, don't go away. We're going to be right back. So just, we're going to reset the computer here. So just don't go away. Okay, with all the excitement, we just had a brief crash there. So just hang on one second. We're back. Okay, we're going to share the screen in a second, and we're still live streaming to YouTube amazingly. Thanks for hanging in there, you guys. We're just going to bring this up. So anyway, we definitely have a way to do that now, which is just with the libraries and the individual. I'm going to show that one more time because it could be a little bit confusing. And you'll have to type, if you have burning questions, go ahead and type them in. This is kind of par for the course of a new version, but it is going to be cleared up pretty quickly. And we do have some rockin' new features. And remember, you're pioneers on the leading edge. You're the first people to be using quantum biofeedback, but honestly, you're ahead of what eventually is going to become millions and millions of people who are going to turn to biofeedback to help them with their issues. And I think the V program that we're going to do, we're going to talk about lifestyle, the latest supplements, the latest findings. We're going to wrap that into a nice class for you, talk about V-Shed and V-Clear and how to utilize them. We're also working on a library for myocarditis, and we're going to educate you about that as well. So I think we're going to have something very, very good that you're going to feel is very practical and that you can utilize. So this is where we left off. And so this says sedation and pain relief. That's where we left off. This is a really cool rife frequency that you can use for sedation and pain relief. And you could just put that one right into your quick zap and just utilize that on its own. Vitamin E, white cells, optimize proteolytic enzymes, nervous system healing. Let's go back and do an oldie, but a goodie that we haven't talked about because we're running out of time, which is always include your flower essences. So make sure you include them: white chestnut, beech, impatiens, mustard. Let's see which of those are the highest level. Let's go ahead and we'll put the blue items in there as well. If you notice that this bulk drag items is now back to where it used to be, it was very spread out with some lines in the old sort of temporary version. Now it's much more concise and organized and exactly how it should be. Then we're going to go here to our play button. We're going to go into begin analysis. Now let's see what are the very highest level items. Ooh, fracture healing begins. My goodness gracious. Let's bring our dear Lisa back if she's still with us. Okay, wonderful. Okay, Lisa, I'm going to ask you to rejoin us, and let's just talk a little bit about how you've been receiving this information and how this is all landing with you. So hi, Lisa, welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
So what do you think about that fracture healing begins now? Any insight as to, or any idea about that?
When I was 12, I had a really bad back injury. I had a fall from like a second story window,
Oh my goodness.
And at the time, I guess it wasn't a priority. We thought it was fine or something. I've struggled with it most of my life. That low back, just tailbone area will bother me from time to time. And I feel like right now is one of those times where I've been really trying to care for it more again. So that's very, very possible.
That is amazing. There's so many items that we put into the main tray. And isn't it fascinating that Fracture Healing Begins Now went right up to the top and really suggests the power of frequency to make a profound difference? Like that blows my mind. Like it's your innate intelligence wants to work on this particular issue, even though it's sort of something from a long time ago. And that's completely fascinating. Just a little bit of like testosterone, a little bit of maybe tribulus. It's amazing that for women sort of in this age range, it can make a big difference. White willow bark is for pain, chamomile is for the nervous system. Olive is a flower essence, usually for long-standing exhaustion. What do you think about that?
Yes, spot on.
Excellent. So, and then just I'm going to do a little balancing for you. Any other response or thoughts about some of the things that we saw coming up during our session?
I felt like everything definitely hit me spot on. Everything that showed up, the hormones, I am in that perimenopause age. I have all the traditional symptoms. That being said, though, I've also used a lot of supplements, a lot of hormone style creams, natural creams in an effort, but at the same time, I'm still struggling with it all quite a bit. Well, not as much as some, but
yeah, it seems like you're doing good. And like only DHEA really came up and the testosterone. You might be hitting the other ones pretty well. Like we did see a little bit of chaste tree berry, but a lot more progesterone usually comes up. So like, I'm just saying that may be working for you. The cream and so forth that you're using actually may be having an effect because we weren't seeing it come up as much.
Super. And that's exciting to hear as well.
Well, Lisa, I'm so happy that you're part of our Genius community. You're checking out the Genius, that you volunteered today, and we'll continue to do some balancing for you. And hopefully we'll talk after class and see how you're doing.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Very, very cool. What a great person to work on today. Wonderful case to be able to look at. So now, this is pretty cool. I think this function has been improved. So down here, it's interesting, 80% harmony, energy flow 32. So that could be electrolytes, water. Why are we not having energy flow? Maybe have your client drink a little bit of water. And then the average of all of these, when we add them up and divide by 3, should hopefully be 55%. Now, all we need is a percentage rectification over 40%, and we're good to go. We don't need to do any more balancing of this combination of frequencies. Let's go ahead and do a rescan, and let's see now, what are the items that come up to the highest level of prioritization? Then we'll sort of wind everything up. We are going to continue to do more training about the new version for sure, and probably a couple of weeks of working on it in our class here, as well as some brief tutorial videos that we'll put out in our emails. And make sure you've joined our Genius Biofeedback Connect. You can go to geniusbiofeedbackconnect.com and be a part of our class. Good old Zoom, Genius Biofeedback Connect. We have a special community, sort of like it's not associated with Facebook at all. It's like an internal community where we can talk about things that we want to talk about, and I can get you information faster. Often I can get it to your inbox and you can share with other people what you're doing, things like that. So interesting, DHEA levels optimized. This Sango de Grado, the blood of the dragon, is amazing if you have like an unhealed fracture, unhealed bone, or you're trying to heal bone. It's a very, very potent bioflavonoid or flavonoid that is from the Amazon rainforest. You should look into it. It has a lot of really positive properties. Very, very interesting substance. Tribulus, again, that testosterone, thyroid, brain, interference field. Something maybe about that fall caused an interference field, and you may want to work on this energetically. Air pollution, Siberian ginseng, white willow bark. Spleen. It's interesting that some things have continued to sort of percolate up to the top. That's absolutely fascinating. So let's see if you have any other questions. I associate energy flow with interference fields, which came up for her because that would block the flow. Did we lose sound completely? Sorry I was late. Could you please advise if the new version is ready to upload? Yes, it is. Yes, we are important to help with glitches. Yes. Okay. All right. So no problem. Buzzing and white noise. So keep me, send me a message. Here's my email, right? Ariel@geniusbiofeedback.com, and talk to us on support about any issues that you're having so that we can forward them to the developer and let him know. It's just going to be sort of a few more days of glitching, and then don't worry, they do sort themselves out. I've seen this time after time, little bit frustrating, but ultimately worth it because great new changes. It's the evolution of the Genius, which is really powered and moved by the community, all of you, your suggestions, your recommendations, your experience in practice. We're at 48%. Let's go ahead and let's see the difference in our aura. How has our aura changed? So you are very important to this whole process. Your suggestions, the things that you notice that you're sending to me, to the developer, they do change the Genius and they help to evolve the Genius. All right, so let's see the change in the aura from the last aura to this one after our balancing. What is the difference? What do we see that's different? Wow, almost like super bright, high vibrational. It's a beautiful difference. We see this like magenta sort of color, or like a pink, which is a very, very high vibrational color. A lot of the sort of fuzziness has left the aura. We're going to look at the comparison in a second. We see the beautiful white, purple, green. What's interesting is kind of a muted green. And so green is going to be hard, but this one reminds me still of some digestive stuff going on. So there may be a digestive cleansing. I think what we're going to find is that our priority issue is right in the center. So our closest, most important issue is the color in the center. And then it moves out from there in levels of prioritization. Let's, I think I just took a screenshot, but let's look at the before and after. So let's go to our photos here and we can look at before and after. Before, okay, I see black, I see gray, I see more fuzziness, okay? It's like the picture is out of focus. Then next picture, more clarity. There's still some fuzziness around the edges, but more clarity, just more bright colors, very high vibrational, actually beautiful, really to look at. So, look at your auras, look at your auras before and after, and start to notice what that difference is. I even see a tiny circle behind the neck. Whoa, you have a better... The only thing I could say about this aura is it seems a little bit off kilter. Please tell me if anybody notices that. I don't think that the little gentleman aura is centered right where the middle of the aura is. So this is, I have a feeling it's in every aura picture. Let me see. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's the aura itself. This is a little bit less on the left, a little bit more on the right. A little bit left. Yeah, I think it's not centered. Sorry, not this aura I have done on my kids. All right, Sarah, thanks for clarifying. Okay, my main issue is that the new libraries I receive will not stick once I load them in. I see them, but then they disappear. I totally agree with you. I think this is happening. I think you're speaking. Let's just look at this quickly back in the program. So, Catherine, I don't know if you're having this, but definitely report it. I worked a lot with the Genius over the weekend. What I noticed is that I would bring up a client and they would have their custom libraries there. But then when I would go back to the client, the custom libraries were not attached to the client. Is that what you're talking about? Definitely report that issue right to the developer, because I did over the weekend. Okay, fantastic. So if you've seen that, then definitely report it to the developer and let him know. Any other issues, you can report it to me, you can report it to the developer, you can report it to both of us, whatever you want to do. We just want to get that information to the developer as soon as possible. Always willing to make the changes. It's hard to know what will come up always on a new update. Okay, just going back to geniusbiofeedback.com, we're going to be posting the recording of this session very, very soon, and it will appear at, if you go to learn and you go to the blog. So anytime you want to check out our previous sessions, you can come right to our blog. You can see different articles that we publish. You can see different ebooks that we've published. So that is on our blog here. Also, you can go to the events page, and we have the events, especially the podcast on Thursday, where Karen and I were going to be sort of deconstructing what we learned from Dr. Young, but really talking about what we need to make this body really, really strong in the face of different challenges that we're facing. I believe our body innately can change any challenge, but let's talk about the strategies of alkalizing, body cleansing, the proper foods to be eating, how we get parasites out of our body, how we just remain very, very firm and strong, even though we may be facing whatever challenge, we can face it. With that, I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your day. You can also watch us on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and share that channel as well. Just one more thing, just if you love the Genius, remember to share it. And I just want to show you a way that you can share our Genius biofeedback system on the website. If you just go to start here, this is meant for newbies, right? They can go right here. They can learn all the Genius basics. They can see our packages available, and they can fill out our 14-day free download. What I want to tell you is that anybody who goes here and fills out the 14-day form, they get a whole series. You can even do it yourself just to see what happens during the 14 days. They get 14 days of tutorials, videos, how-to, ebooks, process books. And so they get a great gift by signing up for that 14-day trial. They're going to get these automated, really cool emails that teach them over the 14 days how to use the Genius. So please do share the Genius with others. It's an amazing tool that we need right now in the times that we're living in. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye for now.